remember Star Wars Battlefront 2? No, not that one. Yeah, that one. The sequel to Battlefront 2015 that came out in 2017? Holy shit, that's almost 8 years ago. That does not feel right. Well, anyway, today we're going to be going back and taking a look at Battlefront 2. The nostalgic, the good, and the bad. Fine, you too, Chewie. We're not going to talk about him. Now, for me, when this game came out, I had been broken up with Battlefront 2015 for a while. And to be honest, I was a bit apprehensive to play this new Battlefront. And the fact that the release of this game included microtransactions so vile that governments were taking notice was not the best sign, but I'm not the type to learn my lesson. So, I ignored all the red flags and played anyway. Come on, it's Star Wars after all. I can't not play a Star Wars game, but even though the microtransaction problem surprisingly didn't turn into a big issue, I still couldn't really get into this game. And I didn't play it nearly as much as the first one. To be honest, I really don't know why. Because even though I personally like 2015 better, I'm a big enough man to admit that this is objectively a better game. Like, no doubt about it. But I think there are a few reasons why I didn't like it as much. The biggest one, by far, was probably how the stats were collected. I'm the type of person that likes to have an overarching goal, right? When I play something, I need something to work towards, whether that be a rank in a game or getting my KDs to a certain level. Whatever. It needs to be something, though. My point is, other than games like GTA, where I can get my satisfaction from other things,
this is where the fun begins.
I usually need to have something to improve, right? Something to make me want to get better at the game. Or else, to me, there's no point in playing. I can't just play for fun. It's not me. I can't do it, all right? I'm not the type that can just go in there and play a random match with no stakes and then just forget about it after. To me, that sounds insane. Not what I'm doing. Because really, what's the point if it doesn't matter whether you do amazing or terrible? For me, there's no reason to play something without something to work towards. And I know, I'm gonna get flamed for that because my friends would act like I just told them I eat puppies for breakfast. Every time I told them about why I didn't like it, they thought I was a psychopath. Like, they literally could not even understand my reasoning. I'm not the weird one, you are!
Why so serious?
Whoops. My inner demon just got out a little bit. Let's just put you back in there, alright? There you go. So, all that to say, if you don't know, in Battlefront 1, there was a page dedicated to your stats. For example, like a KD ratio or a win ratio. But in Battlefront 2, there was no such page. So I think you can imagine what I'm saying here, right? And to make matters worse, they didn't even show how many times I died on the scorecard. And to make worse matters even worse, they refused to even say the word kill. Instead, they said elimination. And my conspiracy theory is that they were too worried it would hurt people's feelings if they say that they sucked at the game, and they would feel triggered if they say the word kill. God, I hate this generation. Didn't you get enough participation trophies from soccer to make you feel special for now? Do you have to take my happiness away too? When will your desire be quenched? How many more souls do you require? I will say this one time, and one time only. So listen good, little Timmy. If you don't want to see your stats because you think you're bad at the game, then get fucking good at the game! Just because you can't accept reality doesn't mean the rest of us should be robbed of it too. Whew, got a little intense there for a second. But for real though, the idea of not showing stats or leaderboards because the company is afraid of hurting people's feelings is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my entire life. It is absolute madness. And trust me, there are other games that did the same thing. I'm looking at you, Battlefield 24. How long did it take you to put a scoreboard in again? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. So yeah, the funny thing was that the only way I could have fun and really get into the game was to take the game super realistically. I had to pretend like I was in the world. And so I would like make callouts to my friends like, enemy on your six, watch out, the left flank is weak, watch out, thermal detonator, watch out. And I would take my life as seriously as in real life and would try not to die even once. That was actually pretty fun. Now, after thinking about it, I think that a lot of the things I dislike about this game are more me comparing it to 2015 and realizing that I just prefer that one more. It doesn't really mean that this one is bad. Kind of like how people say they prefer hamburgers over hot dogs, right? Neither one of them is really wrong. It just depends on what you like. Anyways, For example, I really preferred the movement in 2015. I just felt way too stiff and unagile? Is that the word? Yeah, it is? Good, I'm not an idiot. Phew. You know, of course, you have the jump pack in BF 2015, but it's more than that. There was also just the pure speed of the characters and the roles you could do that made it feel so you're more agile. In playing 2017, I always felt like I was running in mud. Also, comparing the two, I didn't like the heroes as much either. I felt like they were way too weak, so they just weren't as fun to play. Calm down, alright? Trust me, I know what you're thinking. But if the heroes are too OP, then it makes it incredibly unfun to play against. And it's not fair. And to that I say, yeah, you're right. Look, I'm not arguing from logic, right? I know that. All I'm saying is, for me, it was worth it to be killed by a Darth Vader force choke every once in a while, if it meant that I could go on an absolute rampage whenever I found the hero pickup. Also, in this game, the fact that you could buy the hero was a much better improvement. Whoever thought of the idea of hero pickups needs to be locked away, and the key needs to be thrown into a volcano. Now, this next thing I'm gonna complain about, I need to just say this to make sure that I'm not going insane. I swear to God, the amount of times I was forced to play on those godforsaken sequel maps. I mean, bro, they are just worse versions of the OT maps. It's like when you ask your mom for McDonald's and she says, no, we have food at home. Oh, you want to play on Tatooine? Well, how about Jakku? Oh, you want to play on Hoth? How about Crate? It's like Hoth, but instead of snow, it's sand. Yay! Isn't that awesome? You like Endor, you say? I'll give you Takodana. It's like Endor, but with smaller trees and a little castle in the middle. That's better, right? See what I mean? Why would I want to play on the Temu version when I can play the original? Now, this next one isn't really a complaint, but more of something I found really funny. I'm sure most of you guys do this with the games you play, but me and my friends, of course, when the game came out, we'd play it as our main game for a while, but eventually, after a few months, you kind of put it on the back burner for a while and move on to other stuff. And we got to the point eventually where we only played it when my one friend came back from college because he refused to buy any other game, so it's the only game we could play with him. All that to say, we only really played the game every few months. So it was really funny to see the game start off as kind of mid and unfinished, and then right when people gave up on it, they started to do a really good job of fixing all the issues with the game and adding really cool content. And then people started to notice, and they're like, wow, this game is actually really good now. Let's give it another chance. And then right when they did, they canceled it again. Why do so many companies do this? I really don't understand it. They release an unfinished game that people hate, and then, of course, the players realize that the game came out of the oven half finished, and then they hate it, and then they stop playing it. And then when everyone leaves, and the game is pretty much halfway in the grave, then they finally start adding content and fixing all the issues. But by then, it's too late, because everybody already left. But sometimes, if they're lucky, slowly, they'll build up the player trust again by being good, and then right when the players are happy again, they stop updating the game. I swear, the only comparison for these companies I can think of is like when you talk to a girl and she is not interested at all. Like she is just being as dry as a desert with you. So of course, as every healthy person does, you say, all right, fine, no big deal. I'll find someone else. And then you leave, right? But then they get annoyed that you didn't care that much and that you weren't as into them as they thought you were. So they come back and make you fall in love with them and then leave you again, just to make sure that you actually care when they leave you. Now, based on all my complaining, you may think that I hated everything about this game, but actually, there was a lot that I liked. At this point, I feel like it's almost redundant to say that, of course, the graphics look incredible, which is probably the best thing that the new Battlefront games have done. They both have incredible graphics, especially for the Star Wars world, which is not, a real world. So it's, I think, a lot harder to bring that to life. But they did it in a really good way. They put so much detail into every part of the map and the character design that it makes it so realistic to play. And it really adds a lot of immersion to the game. And of course, the maps are incredible too. The way they look, but also like the way they play, really fun usually. But the thing I like the most about the maps isn't the design or the graphics, but it's the fact that we finally got prequel maps and content in this game. I have so much nostalgia playing the old classic Battlefront 2 maps, but let's be real. the graphics were definitely not the strong point of that game.
Holy fish paste! What is that?
I think we can all admit that the graphics are not good. So to see those maps with a fresh coat of paint and real modern graphics into them, it's so cool. And it definitely did not disappoint. But while we finally got more than just normal OT content and got the heavenly blessing of prequel content, with light always comes darkness. With that, we are also cursed with a bunch of sequel garbage.
That is one big pile of shit.
All right. I know I've been pretty ruthless with the sequels, so I'll lay off for now. All right, just one more thing, all right?
Liar!
Anybody that calls Anakin's lightsaber Rey's lightsaber, they need to be disposed of immediately. All right, now I'm really done. I'll leave them alone for now.
What do you mean by that?
I know I've made fun of this game a lot, and while I don't like it as much as Battlefront 2015, I will still admit, by the end of it, it was a pretty good Star Wars game, and I had some pretty fun memories playing it with my friends. That's the most you're gonna get out of me, alright? Now, I am definitely not telling you to subscribe. See ya.